So now the little sing-song is over. We are at full red alert for what is the Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2 finale, Hegemony. Let's talk about it. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. 10 weeks passes very quickly in the world of Star Trek now, and here we are at the series or season finale for Strange New Worlds Season 2. Like I said, episode is titled Hegemony. Wow. We go full dark again for this episode. I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler free as I can, but inevitably there are going to be some spoilers in here, so please be aware of that, especially talking about a certain character that pops up and this sort of a thing. So anyway, so as we know, in the last episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, we were given a little bit of foreshadowing that Captain Pike's girlfriend, she got sent away on a Priority 1 mission. Does that make much sense to what's happened here? Not really, no, not whatsoever. So best to ignore that in a sense. It was a setup for something that they wouldn't have known to send her on a Priority 1 mission. Anyway, so we find that the Cayuga is a planet called Parnassus Beta, which has got a colony on it. A colony that has set up a town that looks very much like Midwest America, conveniently for the purposes of budget. Yes, and the crew of the Cayuga are there helping these settlers out. Captain Patel is on the planet's surface, and along with Nurse Chapel, she's there as well because she's hitched a ride on board the Cayuga to get her off to her medical training thing that she's now going to be attending. Only while they're there, Nurse Chapel beams back up to the ship, to the starship, and then we see a shuttlecraft come crashing down to the planet's surface. Captain Patel sees this, and then they see a big ship appearing through the atmosphere. It's a Gorn vessel, and that's the setup for this episode. The Enterprise finds out about this, and the Enterprise decides to head over to assist and get help and get any survivors. But Starfleet receive a message from the Gorn. They've put in place a demarcation line that they say that if anyone crosses this line, basically we will take it as an act of war. The planet is sat upon the other side of this line, and the crew of the Enterprise have to decide how to get themselves to the planet's surface to assist with any survivors and this sort of thing. All communications are down. The Gorn have built this tower thing that blocks out all transporter, all communication, anything like that. They've got no contact with anyone down below. And when they get there, they find the Cayuga, and the Cayuga has been destroyed. It has been ripped apart. Saucer section is in half and all this sort of a thing. So you get an away mission that occurs with the crew of the Enterprise that includes Erica Ortegas, who's going to have to pilot this shuttlecraft. She finally gets an away mission after, well, not getting one yet. She's been on at Pike about getting an away mission. She's not had one. She finally gets one. Pike obviously is on board this away mission. Dr. Umbega, Lieutenant Kirk, and Noonien Singh is there, obviously. You know, she's security chief, isn't she? So they head down. They've got these new weapons. They've got these new weapons that have been sent to Starfleet vessels in the event of encountering the Gorn. So they go down in hand with them. Luckily, when they go down, it's nighttime, because nighttime and the Gorn, darkness and the Gorn mix for budgetary reasons and for special effects reasons. While they're down there, they do get to the surface of the planet. They get to the surface by disguising a shuttlecraft as part of the debris of the Cayuga. They actually dress it up with crap all around it. They manage to get down like that and not sort of powering the shuttlecraft up until they are practically at the surface. They get there. They do find all the survivors, or a lot of survivors of the townsfolk, the colony. Battelle is still alive, thankfully, and they encounter a crew member of a ship called the Stardiver, which was a solar research vessel. And this is the last surviving member of this vessel. Now, if you don't want to know who the last surviving member of this vessel is, I suggest you put your fingers in your ears right now, because we are introduced to none other than 3, 2, 1. Montgomery Scott. Yes, we are introduced to Scotty, and I quite like the actor that played him. Obviously nothing like what we've had before as a Scotty, but as a young Scotty, he was quite good. He was decent. So this is Lieutenant Scott of the Stardiver, sorry, and he figured out a way of hiding himself from the Gorn by, you know, he's done stuff. He sort of shows already that he's got the initiative to be able to do things, you know, that makes him the engineer that he was to become. And we come to find out that the reason that the Gorn have attacked is because of solar activity of the sun that they were experimenting on, or whatever, researching, set out some solar flares, and this kind of sets off a feeding frenzy within the Gorn, and this is why the Gorn ultimately attacked. So yeah, and then we have this elaborate plan come up by the crew of the Enterprise to attach some rockets to the saucer section of the destroyed Cayuga to send it crashing down to the planet's surface and taking out the structure. Spock has to go for a spacewalk, essentially, and go and attach the rockets to the vessel to get it going, to send it down, crashing. Now, luckily, conveniently, and I will say very conveniently, we find that Nurse Chapel is alive on board the destroyed Cayuga saucer section. Yeah, there's still some force fields in play where there's a bit of power. Conveniently, she is the only person that seems to be alive. I'm hoping she's the only person that's alive. Otherwise, they've sent this saucer section down and sending other people to their deaths who possibly could have been alive. Very convenient that she's the only person that is found alive. But let's get away from conveniences, shall we? Anyway, we get some nice sort of homages to Alien, where there is a Gorn on board and a tail coming down behind Spock and this sort of a thing. But yeah, so this episode here, there's a few more little details I won't go into. The episode doesn't end. It is a to be continued. Fantastic, Star Trek doing that. Now we've got to wait for the next season. But yes, a very, very, very strong episode. Conveniences aside, I won't get into the conveniences of stuff because, like I said, I could tear it apart then. But let's accept what we got. A very exciting, strong episode of Star Trek. Now, certain storylines are left open, obviously, because it is a to be continued episode. But the action is there. It's got action. It's got some fantastic special effects. You know, the Spock going through space and landing on the hull of the destroyed Cayuga. The Gorn look pretty good in their alien-esque kind of way. Yeah, a good episode. The introduction of Montgomery Scott, fantastic. Like I said, I really enjoyed that. I thought the guy playing him was very good. I'd like to see more of him. There is no Kirk in this episode other than Lieutenant Kirk, who went down with the away mission. No James T in this episode, thankfully. I'm not saying that as a bad thing, but it's nice for him to not be there. He doesn't need to be there all the time. Yeah, so a very strong season ender. I will say this season started off a bit questionable for me. I was a bit dubious going into season 2. I thought that it wasn't as strong as season 1, but I think as the season has progressed, it has got stronger and stronger, getting towards this point, to this juncture. Even the comedic episodes, the music episode and the crossover with Strange Lower Decks, very good, very enjoyable. Yeah, I've enjoyed it all. This has been a tremendous season. Like I said, a bit shaky on its first few episodes, but then built up to something special with some fantastic character growth for individuals. I'm very interested to see what happens with Spock and Nurse Chapel after the events of this, whether it reignites the relationship between them or whether it is finished after what happens here. Yeah, some good stuff all around, and I won't say what we're left with as a season, as a continuation into the next episode, but it promises to be something special and hopefully very action-packed for a season opener. So down below, let me know your thoughts on this episode. What did you think of it? Did it work for you? Didn't it work for you? Did this entire season, has it worked? Hasn't it worked? I know that we've had some Marmite episodes with Lower Decks and the musical. They were inevitably going to be very divisive, and they were indeed. For me, those worked. I enjoyed both. But yeah, let me know down below, and don't forget, hit that subscribe button, come and join the channel, because I will be back with reviews of Prodigy if we get to see it when it finds a home. I will be back with reviews of Discovery. I'll be back with reviews of season 3 of Strange New Worlds, obviously, and any other new Star Trek that may come our way. So yes, so what more can I say? But thank you for joining me on this journey and watching my reviews, commenting, liking, subscribing, all that, and live long and prosper.